Hi, I'm Summer Moore. I am actress, writer, producer, creator of Pandemic Pillow Talk, and you're watching FaceTime with Todd Wharton.
Hi, I'm Starr Session, producer of Pandemic Pillow Talk, and you're watching FaceTime with Todd Wharton.
I don't know about you guys, but I've been a little skeptical about online dating until I checked out SayCheese.com. It was really simple. All I had to do was fill out a form, and within 24 hours, they matched me up with somebody who was just like me. Wow, talk about compatibility. So I've been speaking to Kiki for about 8 months now, and I'll be honest with you, I think I found my soulmate. I'm a little nervous because tonight's our first video chat. Either way, I gotta come with my A game. So I went out and got some flowers, got my hair did, and of course, I gotta get dressed for the occasion. I think it's time to meet my future wife. Keith?
Todd?
We'll be right back with Summer Moore and Starr Session. Welcome back to the show, everyone. So my guests tonight are the writer, star, and producer of a new limited series called Pandemic Pillow Talk, which concentrates on the world of dating online during COVID. But you know what? Let's take a look at a clip.
Online dating is pretty whacked, especially during COVID.
Allow me to break it down for you, my friend.
I get matched up with my suitors and they win me over with their chivalry.
All right, well, I'm convinced. You can come move in. Bonjour, Mackenzie.
I forgot to mention he's French. Ooh la la.
You seem normal.
You too. What's wrong with you?
You'll just have to wait and see, won't you?
I didn't mean it badly. I just meant that you seem like someone I'd really love to sleep with.
You better watch it.
You know what? Just fuck it. I'm just gonna be honest, okay?
I'm just gonna come out and say it.
Oh, this is not exactly what I'm looking for at all.
You know, and that clock is ticking.
Thanks for the clock, Mom.
Do you want me to show you my gun?
Dad, stop. Not good.
I read an article recently that said COVID isolation and depression has led to an exponential increase in online dating and unprecedented results.
I am determined to meet the man of my dreams on here that checks all of the boxes.
2,220 and a quarter men in the U.S. that fit my qualifications for marriage. That's the entire population of Westmoreland City, California.
Serious, wait.
Please welcome to the show, Summer Moore and Starr Session.
Fabulous.
I am good as always. Welcome to FaceTime with Todd Wharton. So let's dive right into it. You guys created a great, cool web series based on, I think, what a lot of people have been going through for the past 2 years, Pandemic Pillow Talk, which is pretty much based upon dating during the pandemic, which it's kind of hard to do because I like physical. I don't know about anybody else. So why don't you guys tell me the inspiration behind it and also why you used an all-female casting crew to put this together. I think that's pretty interesting. So Summer, let's start with you and then we'll go right to Starr.
And your first question was how it was, what'd you say?
Yeah, I gave you like 5 questions, right?
Yeah, I mean, you said though, I got the woman, why we're made from women and all that, but there was something and I was like, wait, what? No.
Yeah, I like
How we started Pandemic Pillow Talk.
How we started it. Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to ask it again? What?
It's what I do. Shut up, guys. This is what I do. So, Summer, tell me of the inspiration behind Pandemic Pillow Talk and why you decided to come up with it.
I can do that. Okay, great. I have online dated in the past and have a lot of material for online dating. And I had created a short film that won awards in the festival circuit called As in Kevin. Mm-hmm. And that was the same character that's in Pandemic Pillow Talk. Mackenzie, she was dating in the real world, online dating. And then during the pandemic, independent film had been shut down. We were trying to come up with concepts of what we could film that would allow people to be in their pods and not have to be out in the world doing crews and sets and things like that. And it came to do an online dating comedy. And I thought it'd be great to do a spinoff from As and Kevin and take Mackenzie and put her during the pandemic where she's having to do real online dating. And through that, I did a lot of research on what people were encountering and incorporated a lot of the Zoom snafus that people go through, like the backgrounds, just your arm disappearing into the background and the can't hang up, or it takes forever to hang up, or the mute, you're on mute. Like we do that quite a few times, and various things like that that are worked into the real life scenarios that we all go through, whether it's for Zoom or through online dating online.
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting topic. Now, Starr, I know you were brought in as producer. Was this a home run for you, or did you have to get a little sold on this? Because it is pandemic dating. Not a lot of people are into this. How did you feel when Summer approached you about this?
Well, mind you, this is December 2020. So we're like in the thick of the pandemic, looking for something creative to do. This came up and it's like, totally, like we want to get some people working during the pandemic, and let's put this something creative together. And the cool thing was, how can we do this remote? So I was like, yeah, I'm up for the challenge. And we were able to figure out how to film this remotely, which is like the coolest thing I think I've ever done. Because everyone was all over the world being able to film this and make it happen.
Yeah, it's a really cool topic. I've seen some other people try to do something like this, but I think you guys hit it on the money right there. You went into all the angles, you did your research, because that's one of the things that a lot of people online are not doing today. They have an idea, and they're like, oh, I got Zoom, let's put a movie together, but nobody does their research. Just because you're online doesn't mean you can actually produce good content. And both of you have really done a great job. I think it's hilarious because I don't think I could ever COVID date, to be honest with you, because knowing my luck, because I have some bad luck. Now, I have good luck, but knowing my luck on dating online, I'll be talking to some girl named Michelle, and we'll be getting along great. And then she'll happen to stand up and there's a bulge in her pants. I'll be like, wait, your name's Mike. You're not Michelle. Like, what the hell? I'm like, turn off the camera. That would be my luck. I'm just saying that.
And so we have a lot of interesting dates that Mackenzie goes through, played by Summer. And so you kind of nailed it on the head. Like, what are you going to get when you open up Zoom? Like before you would be like, am I being catfish? And you have to go all the way to the coffee shop to meet them. Right. Now you just open up Zoom in this world that we created for Pandemic Pillow Talk, and you still get the crazy online, which is really fun that we were able, because it's a comedy, right? It's supposed to be fun. And so we were able to bring all those funny dates to the screen. And I think that's like one of the best parts is each episode has its own like,
Yeah.
So
I love it. Summer,
Thank you.
so how did your actual online dating go personally for you? Go off the cuff a little bit. How did dating go for you online?
I was just thinking where you said you have bad luck. I don't think it's probably you. I think it's more the norm to have these like what the heck scenarios. And when I did As in Kevin, I got comments from fans around the world saying, I'm so happy you made this because I thought I was the only one that had these problems. So it's not I think it's more common than not to have misses than it is to have a positive thing. So basically on As in Kevin, I took a lot of the dates, some of the dates that I'd been on, and then I expanded on them. So you actually see those on camera of things like a guy told me when I tried to talk, like, no, just stop talking. We'll just get to you later. And then he proceeded to talk the entire date. So I've had that. And then but then I also took other people's experiences too. They're in As in Kevin as well, and then just made them even more quirky. In Pandemic Pillow Talk, it was more the extent of taking characteristics of guys that I have dated in the past and then creating characters out of them. So most of the characters have guys that I've dated a characteristic, and the mom played by Eliza Roberts is actually based on my real mom and some crazy outlandish things she's done, like I often say about the Chris Evans bit where she tries to set me up with Chris Evans, and that really happened. And so there's a lot of the stuff that's, yeah.
Wait. We're gonna go. Hold on. You just we gotta talk about that, right? So she tried to set you up with Captain America. Is this what I'm hearing?
Yeah, it's literally like in that episode where she called me up and said, I've watched the show. There's this great guy and is like telling me all the stuff to lead up to who it is. And then she's like, have you heard of this guy, Chris Evans? And I'm like, Captain America, Mom? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, Mom, like everybody's heard of Chris Evans. And she was like, oh, okay, great. You know, she really didn't know. She didn't know how big she says now she didn't know how big he was. And so that conversation lasted about a half hour of her convincing me how I just need to email his foundation. Chris will write me back. You guys are going to be really good for each other. And then she's brought it up in subsequent calls. She says now, after watching Pandemic Pillow Talk, she's like, well, I've just let the Chris thing go, although I think you would be really good with him. So she doesn't keep bringing that up because now that she knows it's on, I used it.
So, if your mom set you up with Chris Evans, would you think?
If she tried to, that would be hilarious. Yeah. If she succeeded, thank you, Mom.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, she was determined to get on talk shows. She was like, I'm going to research all the talk shows he's been on, and I think you need to get on these talk shows with Pandemic Pillow Talk. And I'm like, it's just so sweet. I mean, I wish I could call up any of the talk shows and be like, hi, we got this great web series, would you have us on, like, you know,
with Chris Evans?
Yeah.
That would be great. Like he'd just be on, it'll be like, some more,
right?
And you'll be like, yeah. I'll be right there.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, have you ever heard of this guy? Yeah, Ma. You know, I like Chris, but do we have a contact with Thor? Can we get him?
Yeah.
If you have a contact, let us know. If you're watching this, let us know.
I do have a contact with his brother.
Oh,
okay, great.
Well, send our Todd his way. Send that
all right.
I hope he's not watching right now because he's gonna call me and be like, dude, what's up? What are you doing? I don't need Pandemic Pillow Talk. Like my pillow is so packed right now, it's ridiculous. I have to stop.
Well, I mean, it's really like a love letter to him. I mean, it's really like you know, this guy that a mom thinks is just so wonderful for her daughter, which I'm sure a lot of moms think that. But, you know, when Eliza and Eric came on, Eliza was like, oh, we got to get Chris involved with this project, and was just like, he'd love this and that kind of thing. So, you know.
That's pretty hilarious. Now, you did bring on a couple of characters, which is great, that I grew up watching. Okay, first of all, Eric Roberts, been tons of movies. All right, great actor. I heard he's just got a great personality. And for those who don't know, Eliza is very well known too. Now, for me, National Lampoon's Animal House. That's that movie right there is dear to my heart. So, how did you ladies come about casting Eric and Eliza on this, but also husband and wife, which is even cooler to do something together? How'd you guys bring them onto this show?
Well, it was interesting because, you know, we're trying to cast during a pandemic. We wrote these characters before casting, of course, right. And it's a pandemic, and this is the season, the time of pods, right? You're only hanging out with the people in your pod who live in your house. You're not going outside your pod. So we had to cast people that were in a pod. And for Mackenzie's character, we were looking for a mom and a dad. We were looking for actors and actresses that were good, that lived together, which is sometimes rare, you know, usually there's not usually two good actors living under one roof. So when we put out the casting notice and we got it back that it was Eric Roberts and his wife wanting to play the role of mom and dad,
right? And
they gave an amazing audition. We were like, we have to book them. And then we were like, but they're not going to accept. And they accepted. And it was like one of the best parts of production was being like, all right, this is really happening. We got our star mom and dad, and they were just so complimentary of how we filmed this thing. how it was like remote, and they were like, this is the coolest thing production we've ever been a part of, because it's different, right?
Yeah.
It's not like showing up on set. They actually had to work and be crew members, not only just actors. They had to set the lights. They had to set themselves up with mics. They had to do mic tests and checks and send it over through Zoom and through the crew. So they were really cool about like the tech part of it and helping get that done. So it was really cool having them on set for sure.
That's really great. Now, I know a lot of people got asked, now since it's through Zoom, did you have scripts sent to each one of these characters, or was this a lot of it ad-libbed, right? Where you set up the scene and then you see what works? Because sometimes if you're working with the right cast, like Adam Sandler does a lot of that in his film, where they ad-lib the scenes because he's so confident. Did you guys have some scenes like that? Because something like this, if you come up with just something funny, you can't beat that, especially when you're online. I mean, was it hard to do all that together? Who would like to take that?
Well, it was all scripted. I mean, it's because it's very specific on, we're having to sit in front of a computer or a laptop, a webcam. You're not, except for a couple of the episodes where they're moving around,
Right.
which took a lot more work for the actor because they don't have a crew to light. They don't have a cameraman to follow them. Like, they're having to do it all themselves. So we wanted to minimalize that as much as possible. So they were scripted out. You have to keep the characters engaging, or nobody's going to want to just watch a Zoom webinar. Like, that's all you're doing. So, but it was very important to have improv. So the actors that could like kill it on improv, like Eric and Eliza did some really great improv, and it was so fun to get to act with them because we could do the improv. I don't know if you've seen like in episode 4, Eric's like talking about this drunk passenger in first class that's has to get their shirt off and they're putting a seatbelt over his head and all that. That's all improv. So, it's so fun when you can do in comedy. And I think you can always create better stuff than what's on the page. So it's like in comedy, man, let us play. But it's definitely a skill to be able to improv. So
Of course. Now, I know you're starting to launch this now. Obviously, marketing is coming into play. Do you have other parties of interest that are looking to possibly join the crew and do maybe a cameo on this thing? Just because right now online, just being a part of anything creative is helping out a lot of actors, especially B actors, get seen again. I think that's one of the pluses that COVID, even though it's ironic to say that, like pluses, COVID has really helped out with a lot of actors. Do you have anybody that's looking to come in and possibly do a cameo just to be on the show?
Well, we're hoping for Chris Evans. But no, we've already filmed all 9 episodes,
Right.
and those are coming out, and we've got, again, Eric Roberts and Eliza Roberts in it. So that's really cool. And right now we would love for people to comment, like, subscribe, and do all of that stuff so we can get picked up to do a larger series. Because right now each episode is between 7 to 10 minutes long, 15 minutes long, depending on the episode. So they're really short little bits. And so it would be cool if we could get some funding behind it, get picked up by a streamer, get on a Hulu and do like a longer form. Because there is content here. There is more content to be had. Mackenzie can definitely find the one, and maybe she finds the one in the series that we have. But so there's always, if you know someone, let us know.
Yeah, and that's why it's so. That's why it's so important that it gets seen. We need an audience. We need people to share it, and because it needs the exposure for it to reach the streamers or the studios, so that we actually get picked up, and then we can have a budget to go out in the real world.
Of course. Well, you got a good publicist for it because Anthony's been great. I would definitely. Yes, that's right, Anthony. I'm mentioning your name here. Just letting you know, Anthony's like, yeah, I like you, Todd. You're my boy. But it'd be really cool. I don't know if you thought about it. I think it'd be kind of cool to do kind of like a red carpet event for people to go to the theater and watch this, because you have a COVID dating that's online, but you're able to watch it in the theater. Because right now people are aching to get in the theaters. I think it'd be kind of cool if they saw a couple of episodes on the big screen and they get to meet all the cast, and then I think that would be great because people want to get out. And sometimes with me, the way I work, old school is the best school. And when you're able to connect with people in person, they get to know your personality, right? They get to know who you are. They get to meet the people. And if they see a good turnout, you never know, because this is something where I could definitely see it on a big screen, something really cool, right? Something different, because the world is aching for different content, different things. COVID has proven that. And there's a lot of opportunities out there. Even though you could stay online, doesn't mean you can't bring it offline for one day and have a really to do, like it's what they do in press conferences, right? You invite the press to come check it out. Why can't you do the same thing for an online show?
Oh yeah,
Right?
totally.
I don't think anybody's actually done that if you really think about it, but it's like, why not?
No, of
At the
course
end of the day,
people have done it. People have done it and people are doing it. It's just about like we're still in a pandemic, right? Even though we don't feel it as much as we do before. So it's all about just spreading the word as much as we can until the right people see it. And I mean, this is a great idea. We'll sidebar that.
Yeah, sidebar that. I mean, it's a great concept, and there's so many things you can take from this, because remember, once we get out of COVID, you can actually do a sequel to, well, where are all these couples now? Are they dating?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a reality show here.
Okay, look at you. You're like producing this. You're like directing this.
One thing about me, I've always been an idea guy, and when I see good ideas, what's the point in hiding an idea or just being like, hey, because everybody's about the money all the time. I just love seeing great people like yourselves do great things. And sometimes you're so busy that there's something that you may not think about. And I'm one of those people where I like giving people ideas and I don't want anything for it. You know what I want? I want a front row seat. That's it. You guys host a big red carpet event. I want to be flown out and I'll interview everybody.
Oh my gosh.
I'll have fun and, you know,
have you on the red carpet.
Okay.
We'll get you some popcorn for that front seat.
All right.
Yeah, I'll interview people where it's like I'm sitting on a bed, you know, like it's a pandemic. I'll be
pandemic pillow talk. I love it.
Lay it down, you know that?
Yep.
I love the concept, ladies. Seriously.
Todd, you can add this into your September event. We're down. That sounds great.
Oh, okay. Let me talk to Times Square about that.
Okay, great.
No, but ladies, honestly, this is such a cool idea.
Thank you.
I watched it. I love the literally like I said, the concept. I'm repeating myself like 4 times because
appreciate it.
But the plot and the script, it's very well written. I think you guys really did your research, like you said, because a lot of people say they do their research, but I think you really did. And I think you put your heart and soul into this thing. And I think you knocked it out of the park. I really do. And
well, thank you. Really. I mean, it's cool because I feel like each episode is very different. And I think that it's very much a creative process, that it's not, I wrote it, but the actors have to bring it to life, and the producers and all the crew have to like make the stuff happen from the production side. And then the editors, I mean, hats off to the editors, because we wouldn't have what we have without the editors. They have just like this creative genius that's like, maybe I'll take this part and put it here. And it's just, wow, it's so good because of all that. So it's
art directors as well.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, Summer.
Okay.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay.
But that's also what's cool about it too, is each episode does have a good feel into it, because we had all female directors and there were different episodes with different directors. And you know, you read a script or you read a book and then you see it on the big screen, you're like, I'm one of those people that can read a book and be okay with it feeling different on screen, right? But it was interesting being on set and being like, that's how they saw that scene. That's not how I saw it, but I'm loving it, right? And they were able to like bring that out of the actors, allow them to improv, allow us to do cool lighting, or they had just different ideas that were able to do that. So I definitely agree with Summer. It's all about the collaborative effort of everyone being able to help this happen, because it wasn't just the 2 of us, right? There's many moving pieces that really make it happen.
Yeah, and you hit it on the nose, because a lot of great projects only become great when there's a camaraderie amongst the cast, right? A lot of these projects today fail because people have big heads and they don't see past a vision that they have in their head because they're so tied up on it, right? They're like, well, that's not how I saw it. Well, you know, some of the greatest things in the world is not how you see it. And most of the movies that you've seen today, there's a reason why they shoot the scene 3 or 4 times, because there may be an angle, there may be a light, a bird could fly through, like something could add to the element of that scene that you didn't have in your head. And, you know, just because you write a screenplay doesn't mean it's going to stick like that. Most screenplays change overnight. It's the concept of it. And Starr, you hit it on the nose that more and more people should give credit to the art directors, to the editors, you know, to the sound people, to the tech people, to the writers like Summer and everybody else. Even though you're lead, at the end of the day, it's these turning pieces that make the car run, right? And one piece falls off, the whole car falls apart.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
amazing. And you guys seem to get along
absolutely.
great.
Thank you. No, it's very true. You can't just pin it on one, which I think we kind of tend to do. It's like the director is the all high and mighty, and yes, they can pull miracles, but if the actors are cruddy, or if the editors are bad, you can have a great production and then the editor just screwed it. Or, you know, it's just so many, the music, things, everything that comes together. It's a work of art. It's amazing. So, and especially for a comedy, I think comedy is really hard to nail. I mean, how many comedies are out there, and really how many do you think are really good? And so it's just, you can have all that amazing talent of these A-listers that you're like, they're going to be hilarious. And then you walk away like, how did that not work? So, you know, I think it's really a thing with comedy.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because that was the question I was going to ask. And I speak about this because I'm kind of a comedic person. I guess you can tell maybe. Did you find it hard to write a lot of this stuff? Because comedy for the past 2 years has been very hard to do, because for some reason people are very sensitive now about everything. And if you guys look me up, I'm a civil rights activist, Ben Crump. I do a lot of this stuff, right? And comedy is just becoming one of those like, no, don't get into comedy, like you'll get sued. Did you have to go over every script and realize we can't do this, we can't do that? I'm for doing everything, because if you're that sensitive, then don't freaking watch it. That's my attitude, right? Did you have to go through that while you're doing the writing on this?
There is some awareness to that you want to, you know, of course, race gets brought into it. And, you know, if you're this certain race, you can't say this about other people and stuff like that. So you really have to, or sexual preferences or things like that. So you have to taint some of that stuff, unless I guess you're a big time comedian or something like that, that still has your fan base. Like we're trying to gain a fan base. So we don't want to piss people off and have them like, no one's watching our stuff. But I did feel very strongly, I'm very strong into female empowerment.
Right.
And I love dudes too, but trying to rise women, bring them up to equal. And I did, within the dialogue, do specific things that were changing the normal way that we say things, which are of a male orientated vocabulary, and putting them as female. And it sounded very weird. Like, I don't want to cuss on your show, but, and I won't, but
I'm Italian, bring it up.
Really? Okay. So like in one of the first episode, I end up saying that when my mom cock blocked me was the original thing. And that's a male gender. I mean, obviously. And I was like, why does Mackenzie have to speak? Why do we have to only talk in the male? Like, what would that be for a woman? And why do we still use that term? Why can't I say it and I changed it to the P word. And then that turned out to be like, I remember Starr during the edit, she was like, oh my God, that's such a great line. Like it shocks people because you don't normally hear it, but things like that I just felt like, why can't we say that? Why is it only a male dominated vocabulary? So, you know.
100% agree with you. And Starr, I wanted to ask you also, getting into that, I don't know if you guys realize this is also an educational program, if you really think about it, because COVID dating, not for men, because there's a lot more creeps in the male gender than there is in the women. Don't get me wrong, there's creeps in both, right? I mean, sorry fellas, but some of you guys are creeps out there, like, oh, you guys are creeps. I'm just saying. But I think it's a very educational show as well, because there's a lot of people out there today that are putting out everything online. They're putting their whole entire life out there, especially when it comes to dating. Anybody could be the perfect person when it comes to online. You can use quote. I mean, people could look up quotes in their other computer while they're talking about trying to get a date. This show, if it gets picked up, there's an educational purpose here, even though it's comedy, because comedy is like news. There's a reason why I say it a lot. Talk show hosts have monologues, because people don't watch the news as much anymore. Talk show hosts talk about the news in a comic relief sort of fashion so people get it, right? This show can kind of do the same thing and help younger women out there be like, hey, if you're doing online dating, even though you're laughing at our show, take it with a grain of salt on the subjects that we're bringing up. Do you guys agree that you may have something here that can really educate young women as well?
Of course. I mean, it's comedy first, but then there's always that element of everyone can relate. Right. And it's unfortunate that you can relate to the bad stuff because the stuff really does happen, right? So it just kind of snowballs into all of that. And while we're finding the comedy in it, sometimes it just sucks, you know? Right. But it's also like a red flag, like, oh, once you see this while you're online dating, it's like, there's a reason why he wants me to whisper while we're on a call, you know, or you know, everyone has that gut feeling of the red flag. And so it's just kind of interesting to kind of go through it through these episodes because you're feeling it for Mackenzie. You're like, ugh. And sometimes when your girlfriend tells you about, he said this, he said that, and your face is going like, huh? Like, so it's interesting to kind of watch it, put yourself in her shoes because it's just so relatable. Yeah. But of course, funny at the same time.
Exactly. Now, even though you said you wrote 9 episodes, did you write some more in case this does get picked up? Like give yourself a prediction, like we're going to get picked up. Let's start writing right now to predict the future. Have you guys started writing other episodes as well?
Well, I would love for it to get picked up as a limited series half hour. So of course that would, whoever picks it up, they decide. So I do have a pilot episode that's already been written. And then I have like a Bible of where the show would go. And I have another episode that I really wanted. I have a lot of, and they're in my mind, but I haven't written them all. I mean, it's fun to write. I enjoy it, but I have so many ideas of things I want to write. And then you have to go, all right, is somebody going to pick this up? Are we really going to get there? So at least I have the pilot at this point, but I'm not going to write the whole series and then have it just sit there. So,
yeah, I wanted to ask that because I've learned a long time ago that the struggle of getting to where you want to be breaks who you are, right? But once you get there, when that lightning strikes, you may get that person saying, hey, do you have more that you can show us, right? That's why I wanted to ask you that, because you never know when somebody absolutely loves it, they want to put the funding behind it. And then the first question they ask is, do you have more to show us? Because we're in, but we want to see what you have coming up, because that always pops out. So for people who don't know, I know, where can people see this right now, but they can watch this Pandemic Pillow Talk and learn?
We always tell people to head to our website, pandemicpillowtalk.com. From there, you can find us on YouTube as well. And we always tell people to click that notification button, go ahead and subscribe so you can get that next episode. We don't want you to miss an episode as they're coming out weekly. And leave a comment. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. We like those too, right? So just tell us everything, but share it with a friend, especially the episode that you most relate to, because those are, you know, everyone can relate. But yeah, so pandemicpillowtalk.com, and you can find us also on YouTube.
Love it. I love it. Ladies, thank you for being a guest on FaceTime with Todd Wharton. This is really great. I love interviewing people that are really going out there and doing some great work, and the content on here is great. Guys, I'm letting you know right now, you know my following. I recommend this. I think this is a great show. Whoever was watching out there, please follow these ladies. Please go to their website and watch this great series coming out. And follow them both on Instagram, because that's where everybody is today. I know we got Summer Moore and we got Starr Session, both on Instagram. Your Instagram is Summer of, right?
It's a new one. It's sad. The Summer of Happiness. I got hacked. So now I'm starting over again. So it's like people go, you have 100 followers? Oh, you're really good. And I'm like, yeah, awesome. So yeah.
So it's kind of like the opposite. Like, yeah, nobody's following me. Summer of happiness.
I know, it's so sad.
Starr session, correct?
Yeah, but you can find us on Instagram at Pandemic Pillow Talk as well. So
Beautiful. Well, if you guys get picked up or if you're doing anything bigger from this, I'm more than happy to have you guys back, and we will talk more about Pandemic Pillow Talk.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You got it. I'll talk to you later, ladies. So, ladies, first and foremost, thanks for being a guest on FaceTime with Todd Wharton, and congratulations on your new limited series, Pandemic Pillow Talk. I think it's hilarious. I think a lot of people are going to relate because we all know online dating is pretty scary. And again, I think this is an educational show, but at the same time, it makes you laugh, and I love it. So, guys, definitely check this show out. But until next time, like I always say, if you're not living a passionate life, you lose life you're living. Take care, everyone. I'll see you soon.
He is the most interesting man in the world.
I'm not always on YouTube, but when I am, I make sure I'm subscribed to FaceTime with Todd Wharton. Be thirsty, my friends.